You know, there was a time when folks in small towns had to travel pretty far to visit a museum. These days, county museums are popping up all over the state. That's because people there want to share and preserve their heritage. Well, recently, Teresa Bush discovered such a museum down in Sparta.
The White County Heritage Museum has been showing off pieces of its past since 2008. The museum is just off Main Street in downtown Sparta, the county seat. The building is familiar to a lot of folks here because it used to be the city's library. Bill Hurto and his wife Peggy are the directors.
I think everyone should preserve their history in their own counties. Don't let it escape, because once it escapes, you've lost part of yourself and your own roots.
The loss Bill is talking about is exactly what led him and his wife to join county leaders in creating the Heritage Museum. The couple saw firsthand how the county was losing its past.
We were attending auctions. We both collect antiques. And I started seeing so many items going out of this area. There are truckloads of antiques that have been taken out of Middle Tennessee. And what my wife and I are very concerned about is the future for the kids in this area. We're very involved in education. This museum really is one of our main missions, is to preserve the history and to help the children understand this history. So that's why we said, we'll establish a museum so people have a place they could bring things to. And now we work with the kids that they can come back and see how life was for all these years.
At first, Bill and Peggy feared they'd struggle to find things to display, but that's never happened.
When we first opened, you can imagine this building was totally empty. And when my wife and I looked at each other and said, where are we going to find things that we can fill this with of interest? And I could not speak more highly of the people in this community who have brought us treasured things from their family to bring those in and said, I want this to be here at the museum so other people can share it. And it's amazing, it's coming out of the woodworks.
Now things are staying in White County because they have a home.
Teresa, this is our pottery section. We have a very extensive collection of Tennessee pottery here. These are all made in White County. White County had 43 potteries. Putnam County had 20. But this area, White County, had the most Tennessee potteries of any county around. And we have one of the largest collections. They were small mom and pop operations, but we have found that Tennessee pottery was extensively shipped throughout the country, especially starting about 1930s.
There's an education exhibit which includes a replica of a one-room schoolhouse. And you'll see pictures and memorabilia from schools that are no longer in existence. There are displays featuring law enforcement, farming, and industry. After all, who could forget the local shirt factory? And every museum has its most prized possession. And for White County, it's a gun that belonged to General George Dibble.
It was given to General Dibble at the beginning of the Civil War in 1862, right up here at the square. It has it engraved that it was given to him. He carried it all through the Civil War.
While most things in the museum are on loan or have been donated, Bill says the organization had to pay a pretty penny for the revolver, but it's been worth it because it's been featured in a number of national publications. This model railroad is another big draw. The layout depicts White County as it was in the early 1900s. The Crossville Model Railroad Club built it over a span of 2 years. And White County is rich when it comes to its musical heritage, especially in the genre of bluegrass. Fiddler Benny Martin was born here. You may recall he was Bill Monroe's fiddler for several years. And the legendary Lester Flatt and his wife Gladys lived in Sparta for a time while working in the textile mills.
This is the home of Lester. We have many of the original pictures that have never been out from his family. If you want to know about Lester, this is the place to come and find, because this is his roots.
Anytime you visit the museum, images of what Sparta used to look like will be playing on a big screen TV. Amateur photographer James Caldwell shot this video on his Super 8 camera. There is no sound, but that doesn't hinder folks from coming by to see how things looked way back when.
And in the 40s, he went out and just got everybody he could find. Walking up down the streets, he would do parades, but he would go into stores and say, I want to shoot. Well, it turned out that he made about 25 hours of films over the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. And they're fantastic.
Bill and Peggy say they never dreamed their retirement would mean running a museum, but they could not be happier. They're pleased to know their hard work, along with the hard work of many volunteers, will ensure future generations will remember their past.